morning and welcome to today's episode of the Sports Break on RVNTV.tv. I'm your host, Renee Washington, joined by a new face today. We have Jonathan Stroud, our co-host for today. And last episode, were talking about the NFC and AFC North. This week, or today I should say, we're going to get into the West. So starting with the NFC West, a conference that 4 years ago was one of the top conferences in the league and now has done a full 180.
Oh yeah, done a full plummet.
Yes, to say the least. So we're going to start off with the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay.
They have had a lot going on. They just got rid of Chip Kelly. Mm-hmm. So they have a new coach. They have a new team. You know, Kaepernick's no longer on the team.
Right.
So that was kind of the biggest thing that we heard about them. But now having a new coach, what do you think we're going to see from them this season?
Well, I feel like any team that has Chip Kelly, they're going to need at least 2 years to recover. I mean, he comes in there and kind of blows it up. He wasn't in there for as long as he was with the Eagles, so their recovery time might be a little bit less. Either way, though, they had Kyle Shanahan, new head coach now. He's got a lot to prove. Kind of target's been on his back since the Super Bowl last year when his team was up 28-3. It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, they have Brian Hoyer, career journeyman, coming in there to start for the team. I don't expect much out of them. Probably maybe 5 wins at most. They're in that rebuilding stage, which is it's interesting because they were at the top of the mountain maybe 4 years ago when they went to the Super Bowl against the Ravens, and now they just totally they're in full rebuild mode now. So
yeah, do you think that Kyle Shanahan's ready for this task? I mean, he's a younger guy.
He's a younger guy. I mean, he's made his bones as an offensive coach. He's done well with the offenses that he's been around. Did well with Kirk Cousins. Did well with Atlanta and Matt Ryan, but it's going to be interesting to see what he can do with this 49ers team. He doesn't really have much to work with on the offensive side of the ball, so I mean, I don't really see too much coming from the team, like I said, but he does have a lot to prove, with that target being on his back.
Yeah. And then we have the Seattle Seahawks.
Right.
A team that we haven't really been hearing that much about this offseason.
Yeah, they've kind of been under the radar. I mean, they've kind of been the champions of this division, 3 or 4 years. Their defense is still strong. I expect this team, still be, the NFC West champion when it's all said and done. I mean, this division to me is probably the worst in the NFL. I would say. I mean, it's a couple teams rebuilding in Seattle. I mean, they're just going to be the beneficiary of a bad division, I think. Russell Wilson still a dynamic quarterback, I think, but I think their defense is still their strong suit with Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, this is a conference that had the worst record in their non-conference games.
Right.
I mean, other than the Seattle Seahawks, the other 3 teams were not competitive in their out-of-conference games at all. No.
There's a couple of teams I would rather watch golf than watch them play. So, I mean, they're just not too well off. So
yeah, sounds about right. And then with that being said, the Rams in Los Angeles.
Right.
So one of our 2 teams that are in Los Angeles and not as exciting.
Yeah, LA. I mean, the fans, the most laid-back fans. They get 2 squads out there in LA for football now. So, I mean, the Rams. He just made a big trade for Sammy Watkins. So we'll see what they do with that. Jared Goff, 2nd year, didn't really show me much last year. I don't really know what to expect from LA. I mean, they have the youngest head coach in the modern era. They sit now with Sean McVay, 30 years old. We'll see how that's going to work. I'm kind of one of the believers, just like the president needs to be 35. I think an NFL head coach needs to be at least 35 years old. You're going to be a leader of men out there. But I don't really, I don't see too much coming from that. Their defense was supposed to be stronger than it was last year. All in offense, they picked up Robert Woods in free agency. Todd Gurley had a very disappointing season last year. We'll see if he can have a bounce back year. But I don't see more than 5 or 6 wins from the Rams.
Yeah, it's interesting that you talk about Jared Goff.
Right.
Because he did not have a great season last year.
No.
And having a full season, hopefully staying healthy and everything,
do
you think that he's now suddenly going to be able to lead this team to be better? I don't know if they're going to be a 500 team, but at least be better.
Right. There was nothing that I saw from him that was like, wow, okay, well, either they got something here, he's the number 1 pick overall. I think they're going to be, a little upset that, number 11 in Philly got away from him when, they chose Goff. So he didn't really, strike me personality-wise. When I was watching Hard Knocks last year, I didn't see too much from him. Just his leadership ability. But, we'll see. I don't, like I said, I don't expect much from the Rams.
Yeah, I don't either. That's why we're flying through this conference. It's not that great. There's not much to say.
It's a snooze fest with this NFC West.
It is. I mean, you have to talk about them because we're talking about every conference in the league, but there's not much to say about them because they are the worst conference in the league.
Oh, yeah.
So, last but not least, in Arizona, we have the Cardinals with Carson Palmer. And he's a veteran. I don't know if he's going to, it's a shame because I used to love the Cardinals. I used to love watching them. Right. But now, they, much like the rest of the conference that they're in, they have dropped off tremendously. And they're not that same team that they were a few years back.
It's funny. I mean, just 2 years ago, they were 13-3. Right. Everybody's kind of dartling around the league, defense. Carson Palmer, this big, bounce back a couple of years ago. But, I mean, now, they just, quickly become like one of the older teams in the league now. And it's like they're the senior living facility of the NFL. I mean, you got Carson Palmer, Bruce Arians is up there as far as the head coach is concerned. Larry Fitzgerald, is getting up there in age as well. I mean, David Johnson, everybody's fantasy darling. They still have him to hold on to and carry the load for them. Their defense, I think, is still going to be strong. Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, he's coming back from injury. You still have Patrick Peterson on the outside for the corner. Right. So I think the defense is going to keep him in some games. But as far as on offense, it's going to be, John Brown coming back from injury again. Yeah. They're saying he kind of is not looking the greatest coming in training camp. So, Bruce Arians is going to have to pull some rabbits out of the hat with the offense, I think. And Larry Fitzgerald is going to have to, dip into the fountain of youth again, So, I like the Arizona Cardinals, but I don't see more than 9 wins for them.
Yeah. So, I guess my question then is, because you have the Seahawks, you have the Cardinals, who were teams that were dominant. The Seahawks were in the Super Bowl. Right. You have the Cardinals who were doing well and could have been, and were at least contending for a chance to make it far in the postseason. Right. And now this conference as a whole, the Rams never did much, but this conference as a whole has dropped off. Do you think it's kind of like their age has caught up to them because they don't have those same, Larry Fitzgerald with the Cardinals, Russell Wilson with the Seahawks. Right. Maybe now that he's married and settled down and everything, maybe his focus isn't there. But
sometimes that weakens the man. We'll see.
And it is Sierra, so who knows? But
he still has that future shadow to deal with.
Very true. Very true.
A lot of future during the pregame if I was his opponent. So that's how you get in his head.
Oh, I like that. But is this maybe more? It's time for the conference as a whole, the teams to maybe rebuild and bring in some younger guys and.
Right. I think it's kind of the ebb and flow of things a lot of times. Like I said, you have the 49ers and the Rams. They're clearly in rebuild mode. Right. I think you're going to see the Arizona Cardinals go into that mode as well. I don't. I think it's probably the last year for Carson Palmer. It's all about that. The quarterback, which is it's Captain Obvious, but. Russell Wilson's really the only quarterback in that division who you can count on to go out there and win your ball game. So
that's true.
If you don't have that, you don't have anything. So I think like I said, we said previously with Jared Goff. I'm not a believer in him. I don't know how you feel about him, but
nope.
It's 2 squads definitely in rebuild mode. It's going to probably be 3 by the end of the year. So Seattle's just the beneficiary right now of a bad division. So.
Yeah. Well, when we get back from this break, we're going to talk about a better division, the AFC West, which is not a snooze fest and actually has some teams that are winning 12 games in a season. Right. So we'll be right back after this break. Don't go too far.
Most of the time, it's easy to know which option is better. Other times, not so much. So it's good to know that Mazola corn oil has 4 times more cholesterol-blocking plant sterols than olive oil. And a recent study found that it can help lower cholesterol 2 times more. Take care of those you love and cook deliciously. Mazola makes it better.
La Esperanza Mexican Restaurant and Bar, the best authentic Mexican restaurant in South Jersey. Your friends and family will enjoy the fun and the food, like our staple guacamole, tamales, and ceviche. Our weekday lunch special is just $7.99. We also offer Saturday and Sunday brunch. Enjoy the largest selection of tequilas in South Jersey, Mexican beers, bottle and draft beers, fresh margaritas, and daily beer and margarita specials. La Esperanza Mexican Restaurant and Bar, family owned and operated since 2002.
Hi, I'm Becky.
And I'm Eric.
And this is Cookin' Uncorked.
It is.
It is. And you can check us out Mondays at 10:30.
10:30. 3 Monday.
See you there. Got a quarter?
Hi, I'm Jim Cucinotti. I'm inviting you to watch my show on the Halo Health Network on RVN. We cover everything you always wanted to know about health but was afraid to ask. We have interesting guests who can help you how to live healthier, how you can be smarter about your health, how you can help your family live healthier and be healthier. We are on Tuesdays from 9:30 Eastern Time to 10 o'clock. Please come and watch us.
Welcome back to the Sports Break. I'm your host, Renee Washington, joined by co-host Jonathan Stroud. And we were just talking about the snooze fest of the NFL, the NFC West. We quickly got through that because there's really not much to say. But now let's move into a conference, the AFC West, a conference that has 4 teams that can all be contenders to make it to the playoffs, and 2 of those teams that won 12 games last year. So starting off with our second Los Angeles team, the Chargers. So if you guys did not pay attention, the Chargers preseason game this past week had less fans than the LA Galaxy, the men's soccer team, which plays in the same StubHub Center arena. They sold less tickets than them. And part of the whole reason they moved to LA was because they felt like they could now compete with the Rams. They could get tickets, they could get fans. That LA environment would provide for more fans, and in fact, they had less.
Right.
Are you surprised by this at all?
I'm not surprised at all. I mean, LA is known to have one of the more casual fans in all sports. I mean, they'd much rather be on the beach and they're California cool. So, I mean, to hear that storyline, I'm not surprised at all. You know, it's the LA Chargers we're talking about here. I mean, this team, it's like Groundhog Day with this team. Every year you expect them to do some good things, but, you know, they've had a string of bad luck with injuries. Last year there was at least 4 or 5 games where they were up, and then the team just came back miraculously late in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, they're a little bit snake bitten, the Chargers, and so I don't know what to say as far as what to expect from them this year, but I don't think. I mean, their defense has actually gotten better over the past couple of years. Joey Bosa showed up after that long holdout, and he proved that he's going to be, you know, a stud on the defensive line. But, you know, Phillip Rivers, he threw a lot of interceptions last year. And I think a lot of it has to do with that bolo tie he wears. I don't know if you ever see that thing, but I think the football guys, they frown on him with that. So I don't know if it's, you know, I think it's that dress code, man. Anybody who wears a bolo tie, it's not going to work out for you in the NFL.
Not as a quarterback, and you're supposed to be a certain mantra of character. But I mean, to me, it's just interesting. Well, now LA in general they already had 2 basketball teams, and they have a soccer team, and now they have 2 football teams. And the fans, that's a lot of games to watch. Like, in this area, we don't have as many sports, so it's kind of a higher demand. And they were, I guess, assuming it'd be because they're in a smaller arena playing where the LA Galaxy play, they would get more people wanting to buy tickets. Right. And I feel like they also think that would miraculously change the way their team is. Yeah, which that doesn't convert to the way you play.
It's not going to change anything. I mean, they're still the Chargers. You know, like I said, every year it's the same thing with these guys. You know, you have the high expectations, and they end up either being 8-8 or 7-9 or hovering around that win mark. I mean, now watch them go out this year and be 12-4. It's, you know, discount everything I'm saying, but. I mean, they have the talent to do it. Travis Benjamin's on the outside. They got some other receivers there. Yeah, I mean, Melvin Gordon popped up last year and did some major things. So, I mean, the talent is all there. I'm not really a big believer in their head coach, who's been there for a while now. But and Phillip Rivers, I think they probably should have went out and drafted another quarterback, his replacement, because I think the clock is ticking on him. So, I'm saying maybe 9 wins at most for them for this year.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks, we're going to shift gears to the highest paid player in the league. and that is Derek Carr
and
the Oakland Raiders. So there's a lot going on in Oakland right now. We're going to start with Derek Carr. We won't get into beast mode, but first things first, last year the Raiders were so exciting to watch. They were having a great season, and he goes down with a broken fibula. He's out for the rest of the season. In that offseason, after having that season-ending injury, had a raise in his contract and is now, as I said, the highest paid player in the league, which in itself has some controversial responses around it, to say the least. But do you agree with this?
Well, see, with Derek Carr, I'm actually a fan of Derek Carr's. I think the Raiders, I was going to pick them to go to the Super Bowl last year. They were on a nice little run there, and then they had that bad stroke of injury there for that final game. They're everybody's darling this year. They're the most bet on team this year to make it to the Super Bowl, which I guess says a lot about Raider Nation and what they're smoking out there. But I think that I think they can challenge though this year. They all the pieces are in place. As far as Derek Carr, he's proven it. Yeah, every year he's gotten a little bit better. As far as his efficiency, so he's got the weapons on the outside, and now he has beast mode back there as far as to carry the rock. So. We'll see what he has left in the tank. But, I think the Raiders, they haven't won a division in 15 years. Last time was 2002 when they went to the Super Bowl and should have been against the Philadelphia Eagles. But, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to get emotional. It's too early. Damn it, Rondé Barber. Sorry. Every time it kind of catches up with me against that Tampa Bay game.
It's part of being an Eagles fan. I understand.
Sorry. It's just a
when
little
you
emotional.
think it's going to work out.
Damn McNabb, sorry. Comes out every once in a while.
It hurts.
That one hurt the most. I think that Tampa Bay loss. I'm sorry. I digress. But I think the Raiders are on pace to win this division. I'm drinking the Raider Kool-Aid, so I think they're going to be.
I think it's interesting if Derek Carr doesn't go down week 16,
and
they had the momentum going towards the postseason. If he doesn't go down and get injured, it's hard to replace your star quarterback. It's not like you have, like some of these other quarterbacks we've been talking about. I won't say any names, but to have one of the best quarterbacks in the league, an up-and-coming quarterback in him, you don't really bounce back from that.
No. They were doomed from when he went down with that injury. So, the writing was on the wall. Like I said, I really thought they could challenge the Eagle Empire known as the Patriots last year. Hopefully this year, they can do that. They're in a tough division, though, because I think between, them, the Chiefs, the Broncos might have a little bit to say about that. We're going to talk about them later. But I think that as far as all three phases of football, they clearly have it as far as this division is concerned. Yeah. So I expect them to come out on top again. I'm thinking maybe 11, maybe. I think 11 wins is probably going to be a ceiling for them. This division is pretty tough. The games are usually close, so I don't see them reaching 12.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So beast mode is back.
Yes.
And he is in Oakland. And already, even though the season has not officially started, he has been the center of some controversy in the fact that he sat down during the national anthem.
Right.
And I won't put my opinions on that out there, but he sat down, he's eating his banana, he said he's done this multiple games. It's nothing to do with him making a statement.
Right.
It's more him just doing what he does every game.
Right.
What are your thoughts on Marshawn Lynch sitting down?
He said he's been doing this his whole career, but I guess it's been brought to the spotlight now because he's sitting down. He's the more passive aggressive his approach. I don't think he can be the spokesperson for this movement. Because number one, he doesn't like to speak. So that's going to hurt the cause right there. But it's going to be interesting to see if he does this all season. And I'm sure he'll only speak when he needs to speak. Only so he won't get fined, like as he likes to say. But I can respect it if he's doing it for the right reasons and the more righteous reasons, but I would also like him to expand on it and just not use that passive aggressive approach that he uses.
And I was talking to someone. It's funny because Marshawn Lynch is the type of player that does things with a purpose.
Right.
Like he's calculating. He knows what he's doing. Like when he says the sarcastic comments, that he doesn't want to speak, he doesn't want to get fined. Like he knows what he's doing.
Right.
And he almost came, and I'm wondering if part of the reason why he came back is not only to play, but to get back involved in the league during a time where there is a lot going on. They're talking about raising the salaries and the fact that the salaries in the NFL are nowhere near what they are in the NBA.
Right.
So there's issues around that, and Richard Sherman's been speaking so highly on that. And then also the issues of the whole social justice movement with Black Lives Matter and all the things going on. I mean, most recently Charlottesville. I'm wondering if he's now getting back into the spotlight to kind of be a part of this.
I would like it for it to be a piece of it. I mean, he definitely has that stick it to the man mentality, and he is very strategic in his approach. So, like I said, I would hope that he doesn't cave in, and if he's gonna ride this out, go ahead and go all the way in. Don't half-ass it. So I think if he's gonna continue to sit, go ahead and do that, and just be a voice for the movement, going forward. So, I respect it.
Yeah, and to completely give my opinion, because I'm going to, I know that a lot of people feel like sports are not the outlet to have, whatever you're feeling, whatever is going on politically, to speak up on that in that, platform. Right. But in my opinion, it's the perfect platform.
Oh, it is.
Everyone's tuning in, game in, game out. It's supposed to be a fun thing, but when there are situations going on in our world, like Charlottesville and Seattle, and all the hatred and discrimination going on and violence going on, why sit back and act like it's not happening as you run up and down the field playing a game when there are lives being lost? So for those of you that feel like you should not speak out on a sports platform or reporting platform or whatever the case may be, and just be unbiased, why be unbiased when people are being killed or being tortured or being, emotionally tortured in the sense that they can't even voice their opinion or be comfortable being who they are because of what's going on around them? Right.
I mean, you can only, you do so much as far as what's going on, and I think when you have, this has been going on for years, even with Tommy Smith in the Olympics and Muhammad Ali. I mean, these people are voices of change, and so I think that is a platform for you to go out there and just spread your opinion and let because I mean, if you turn a blind eye, it's almost like you're co-signing on things that are going on. So I think these guys, they're making a lot of money. And they should use this platform for positivity and use it for letting folks know what's really going on behind closed doors out here. So if you don't like it, then turn it off. So.
Definitely, and much like we all learned growing up in grade school, if someone is being bullied and you're a bystander and you're not saying anything, you're just as guilty. But for letting it happen without saying anything, you're not any better than the person that's doing the bullying. So, off of that sidebar, we actually are going to take a quick break. When we get back, we will continue talking about the final two teams in the AFC West. We'll be right back.
Most of the time, it's easy to know which option is better. Other times, not so much. So it's good to know that Mazola corn oil has 4 times more cholesterol-blocking plant sterols than olive oil. And a recent study found that it can help lower cholesterol 2 times more. Take care of those you love and cook deliciously. Mazola makes it better.
La Esperanza Mexican Restaurant and Bar, the best authentic Mexican restaurant in South Jersey. Your friends and family will enjoy the fun and the food, like our staple guacamole, tamales, and ceviche. Our weekday lunch special is just $7.99. We also offer Saturday and Sunday brunch. Enjoy the largest selection of tequilas in South Jersey, Mexican beers, bottle and draft beers, fresh margaritas, and daily beer and margarita specials. La Esperanza Mexican Restaurant and Bar, family owned and operated since 2002.
Hi, I'm Becky.
And I'm Eric.
And this is Cookin' Uncorked.
It is.
It is. And you can check us out Mondays at 10:30.
10:30 every Monday.
See you there. Got a quarter?
Hi, I'm Jim Cucinotti. I'm inviting you to watch my show on the Halo Health Network on RBN. We cover everything you always wanted to know about health but was afraid to ask. We have interesting guests who can help you how to live healthier, how you can be smarter about your health, how you can help your family live healthier and be healthier. We are on Tuesdays from 9:30 Eastern Time to 10 o'clock. Please come and watch us.
Welcome back to the Sports Break. I'm your host, Renee Washington, here with Jonathan Stroud. Sorry about that. Tongue twisted.
Tongue twister.
Let me try that again. Here with co-host Jonathan Stroud. So we were just talking about the NFC West, and we started talking about the AFC West. There are two teams we have not gotten to yet, starting with the Denver Broncos.
Yes.
They have quarterback Paxton Lynch, who may not be their quarterback for long.
Mm-hmm.
This quarterback battle that's going on is a big one. I mean, they have a pretty strong defense, like the Chargers, like we talked about earlier. Who do you think is going to be their quarterback?
Hey, there's an old saying: if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback. So I think that Trevor Siemian, he didn't show me anything last year to impress me. Maybe because I had a fantasy player on his team and he never got him the ball. But I don't expect much from Trevor Siemian or Paxton Lynch. I mean, both reports have been bad on both of them. So their defense is going to have to carry them again. So I mean, it's getting to be the same old song in Denver. Ever since they won that Super Bowl, the defense has, been top notch in the NFL. They're going to have to carry that torch again this year. I don't think they're going to be able to do much because it's only so far. I mean, the defense I don't think is as dominant as they were when they won the Super Bowl, or one of those, the Ravens defense when they won the Super Bowl for them. So, I mean, they're going to have to rely on their quarterback at some point to go out there and win them a couple games. Mm-hmm. And I don't think either one of them were capable of doing that.
I think it's funny you mentioned when they won the Super Bowl, but that key factor of when they won the Super Bowl is Peyton Manning. So
Peyton Manning didn't do anything that Super Bowl.
But it's still having him on your team versus a Paxton Lynch.
Right.
Who would you rather have as your quarterback?
Yeah, I'll take a one-armed Peyton Manning over Paxton Lynch. Yeah,
I mean, he at least had that experience. He understood, how to get the guys around him better.
Right.
He's a veteran. He's a guy that had been in the league and been a top quarterback in the league for so long that he's someone the other guys may want to play better for.
Right.
Just because they trust him and they want to be better for Peyton.
Peyton definitely has a lot more street cred than a Paxton Lynch or a Trevor Siemian. So I agree there. As far as they have some weapons on offense between Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders, and we'll see if their run game can bounce back this year. It was a little in the tubes last year, but it's going to come down to the defense. And like I said, Von Miller and those boys, we'll see what they can do as far as catapulting that team to maybe 8-8. But I think this team is actually in for a dip this year. I think they're probably going to be in around that 5-6 win mark.
Yeah, we'll see. Von Miller is very talented, so still having him leading your team is great. So the final team that we have to talk about, Kansas City, our buddy Andy Reid.
Big Red. Office hours up front.
Oh, man. Yeah, right? The Eagles, Big Red.
Right.
So in Kansas City, they got rid of Jeremy Maclin, and that was very unexpected.
Big Red turned into an OG this offseason. I mean, I think he was listening to a lot of trap music. This guy went to Jeremy Macklin's wedding, posed pictures with the man. 2 days later, he clips him. Yeah. That's an OG move right there. So, Big Red, he will protect himself. He started the clock again, I think, on his career in Kansas City by going out and trading for a first-round pick and Pat Mahomes. Mm-hmm. So, he's known to be a quarterback whisperer, and that's kind of where he made his bones in Green Bay and into Philadelphia. So, it's going to be interesting to see what he can do. I think his next clip job is going to be Alex Smith. I think
you beat me to my question.
The clock is ticking. Sorry about that. I think the clock is ticking on that guy. So, I think Alex Smith is about 2 bad games away from the Pat Mahomes show beginning in Kansas City.
Yeah. And, Jeremy Maclin was getting paid a very high salary as the number 1 guy, but he's not a number 1 guy. He's more of a number 2 guy.
He is.
As a wide receiver. And same thing with Alex Smith. Right now as their quarterback, he's not really doing what he's supposed to do game in and game out. He's not getting those passes. He's not holding down the offense like he should be.
Yeah, Alex Smith's always been one of those middle of the road, plain Jane kind of quarterbacks, and not going to really do anything exciting. It's pretty much he's a game manager, as they like to say out there in the NFL terms. So I think Andy Reid's kind of sick of that, and he kind of sees the writing on the wall with Alex Smith. And you can only go so far. The ceiling is only so much with a guy like Alex Smith. So he's really, he's going ahead and got his first round pick, Pat, and reports have looked good. And he looked good in his first preseason game. Mm-hmm. It is preseason, but we're going to see. I think we will be seeing Pat Mahomes before the end of the season out in Kansas City.
So too. Well, we already know who's probably going to win in the NFC, but for the AFC West, If you had to pick one team on this day, August 17th, who do you think it's going to be?
I think it's going to be those Oakland Raiders. It's going to be coming out of that division over there, the Raider Nation. I think they have the most talent. I think they're primed for a great season this year, pending injuries and staying healthy. Of course, that's the asterisk with everybody's. But I think the Raiders are on pace, probably, like I said, to win about 11, 12 games at maximum. Kansas City is probably going to be challenging them for the division. But, we didn't Tyreek Hill, another dynamic player for Kansas City. I mean, he's one of those gadget players that can kind of do jack of all trades. They expect him to kind of jump in that Jeremy Maclin role this year and kind of take on a bigger role. So I think it's going to be interesting. Andy Reid is still, I think, a good coach. He got a bad rap, for not getting to the Super or not winning the Super Bowl here. So, but I think he, the New England Patriots have always been a thorn in his side as far as teams that he could never beat. But
I agree.
I still think the Raiders are going to come out on top in this division.
Yes, so. I'm looking forward to the Raiders and how they play this season, if they can stay healthy. So we'll see what happens, because injuries are always the biggest issue.
Right.
So, Jonathan Stroud, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you. It's like a sports blind date.
We are unfortunately out of time here on the Sports Break. As always, you can find more of our episodes on rvntv.tv. We're here live every morning, 9 a.m., Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Friday, which is tomorrow, we actually have a special guest, and you do not want to miss this special guest, an up-and-coming star. That's all I'm going to say. You'll have to be here to find out who it is. I'm your host, Renee Washington, here with Jonathan Stroud. We hope you have a great Thursday.